Hey everybody, here I am working on my rain barrel system. I just want to show you kind of what I'm doing here in the progress of working on it. I'm actually building a manifold. I'm going to start with 3 tanks, 55-gallon drums that I picked up. I actually picked them up for about $6 a piece. They were used for soda. They use the syrup and soda, but I'm building a manifold system so I can run all 3 together off of one downspout. Let me show you what I got going on over here. This is all 3/4 inch PVC. And basically from the start, what I did was I took out these bungs here that come in the very top of the barrel, washed out the barrels, and you can see inside these are actually threaded, and they're 3/4 inch pipe thread. You got to cut out this piece down here to actually get access to that. So right here on the bottom, and I actually just cut those out with a regular old utility knife. Comes right out. And then you can take one of these 3/4 inch adapters to go from threaded to slip, and it threads right in. I went ahead and put a small piece of PVC in between and put my elbows on so that I can come out the top here. After I cut out the piece in the middle, when I set these back in, I actually made sure that I sealed them all up, and for that I just used some kitchen and bath. It's adhesive caulking to make sure that there are no leaks. The bungs should not leak, but just to make sure, I went ahead and did that. So I came off of my 3/4 PVC. I elbowed it out. This is actually going to flip. All these barrels are going to sit upside down. I left a quick connector here, just a little repair, 3/4 inch repair connector, so it's not glued. This can be taken off later so I can expand the system and move it out. Not a whole lot going on there. I teed it off here. I'm going to actually end up, I was going to use a hose bib, but I'm going to end up using a 3/4 inch ball valve in PVC just to save costs a little bit. I already got it angled down, and then once I installed the ball valves, I'll have the external thread 3/4 inch here to go straight onto my garden hoses. Anyways, just wanted to show you what it looks like while I'm building it. Before I actually put it together, seal it up, I'm going to set them all on cinder blocks upside down. I assembled the manifold system here without glue just to make sure that I had everything right, everything's cut even, and it's going to function. Barrels flipped over on the cinder block. I'll glue up the manifold system. Once that's set up, I got to cut one hole in one of the barrels, and as I'm going, they'll actually all fill up evenly, and I'll show you that once it's done. Alright, I got my barrels positioned out here. I have not glued anything yet. I was just trying to get everything lined up. I got the first one lined up with my gutter here that I'm going to have to cut and use some flexible pipe going into the main unit here. I got a valve on the end, and then I also have a valve coming out this way. I got 2 gardens that I'm going to try to feed. It looks like everything's squared up real good. The only thing I may have done differently was cut the pipe a little bit shorter so I could use less cinder blocks and balance 2 barrels on 1 row of blocks. But since I already had the blocks, I went ahead and did it. Looks like it's going to be a little bit more stable. Once I cut the rain spout and put the flexible tubing, these barrels will push back so that they're a little bit seated more evenly to distribute the weight a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole in the top of my first barrel here, and I got a screen that I'm going to put in there, and then I'll pipe the ductwork into it, and then once that's all set up and I know everything is good, I'm going to go ahead and cement in the PVC pipe. Okay, I went ahead and unscrewed the drain pipe here from the wall. I went ahead and cut it off with just a regular hacksaw. Came off real easy. Getting ready to cut the top of the bucket. This is an aquatic plant basket that I picked up at Lowe's. It's a little bit bigger than I would have liked, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I flipped it over, went ahead and traced around it. I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch on the inside to make sure that the lip sits up on top of the bucket. I've seen a lot of people use rotozips or routers and stuff like that to cut these. Probably a good idea. I'm trying to be cheap on this one, so I went ahead and just drilled a couple holes in it. I'm going to use this keyhole saw just to cut it out, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, the keyhole saw was a lot of work as expected. The only problem I really had with it, it did work fairly well to cut it. It was hard to keep a straight line, so I ended up using my circular saw. Kind of messed up my blade there, but I did get it cut, and you see this basket here drops right in. Put a couple of screws. This flexible spout that I got from Lowe's, it was a couple bucks. Now when this gets full of leaves, I can just take it out, dump it out, put it back in. I'm on my way. I went ahead and glued up my PVC pipe, so everything's situated now. I did make a lot of a mess inside of the barrel when I did the cutting, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the garden hose, put it in the top, flush it out, make sure all that stuff's out before I hook up my drip system. Okay, so now I have my 3-barrel system. I have the manifold on it. I'm going to drill a small hole in top of these 2 containers here to make sure that it's breathable. And that way when the first one gets full, the water will equalize itself through the manifold system and each barrel will be equally full. Now I have a 3 55-gallon drum capacity for water. I got 2 valves on it and I only had to do 1 downspout, so now I actually don't have to change my hose from barrel to barrel if I wanted to use the water from each barrel. They're all going to be the same, all connected together. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a hose out here to my garden, get my drip system set up, and probably install a timer to get it going.